Good evening, guys. I did in fact trade today, so I will go ahead and get started on what we had. This morning there were no trades, at least by my calculations, because if you look at my bias indicator thing told me this, but the 4 hour was still bullish and the daily was still bullish, but if you come down to the 1 hour, we were bearish. We had made bearish market structure shifts here, and then a continuation here, and then we didn't have that market structure shift till here, which was an 11 o'clock candle. So I had no trades for the morning. That was just my approach to it. I didn't really have anything else. That was literally just all I had. There wasn't really a whole lot else to it. Other than that, we came into the afternoon session, and I like to look at trades at 45 or later. And here, let me just this. I'm still working on this SMT thing. Like every once in a while, the lines disappear, and Claude keeps telling me that I'm fixing it, and then it's not actually fixed. And then I go and try to fix it again. Whatever. It's big. It's whatever. So we have this regular trading hours opening range gap, which we end up filling in morning session, but I keep it on just because I like it, and price still reacts off of it. So one thing that happened in here, so actually I should just go from top down. On the 1 hour, the thing I was looking for us to respect was this 1 hour bullish order block. This is what I figured we would react off of. And so, as I always do, I take this and I put the fib thing over it. So my first reaction should have been, okay, well, given all the lines we have, where do they overlap? And there's a big overlap right here. These two lines overlap pretty perfectly as well with the first presented fair value gap of today. Other than that, we have the top quadrant level and regular trading hours opening range quad level at pretty good overlap. The thing is, both of these are below not only midnight open, but also 8:30 open, so that's also a good sign. So the issue that I made, which was my own mistake, was I took an entry in here. I took an entry right here, which I took up and I stopped out. I was break even for like $45. And then I ended up taking another entry right in here, another entry somewhere in here, and then another entry right in here, which at that point I gave up. So here, let me get my trades on the screen so that we can analyze and talk about what I could have done better. Here, so this was our first trade. This trade I didn't actually mind that much. I definitely could have done better in the fact that I should have been below the 8:30 or midnight, either one. Just being below those opening levels would have been ideal, but we did have SMTs, so it's not like I was going off of nothing. And we had come down to this 1 hour order block. So if we were going to respect the top quadrant, that would all make sense. So like all of this for me was like, it made sense. It was all a very like logical entry. I didn't lose any money. I made like $45. It wasn't anything insane, but I saw it come up. I saw it come up here, came down here, and when it started coming down here, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go and close out the position. So I did. It was a little bit of a profit, but it was whatever. And then we hit the quadrant level here of that order block, and we have this in here. We're getting SMTs back here. So I was like, all right, I'd be willing to enter. Why entered right here is kind of ridiculous. So I like this fair value gap right here is what I intended to enter off of. But the spread was so large that I got entered all the way up here for this position. Absolutely insane. I could not believe what was happening. It drove me a little insane. So that was a very sad situation for me. It entered me all the way up here when I meant to enter in right here. And then, yeah, it continued going down. So the issue with this was that there was no like significant level that I was basing it off of. We'll talk about this later, but this level down here made much more sense. But also, I should be looking for an entry in this down move right here. This down move should provide me an entry on this order block, which is what I entered off the second time, was this order block right over here, which explains this entry. So the only valid entry that I had in here was this entry right here, not this one up here. This one up here never should have happened. I do this sometimes where like it moves up and I think it's leaving without me. And when I think it's leaving without me, if that's going to happen, most likely I shouldn't enter the trade, because if it does end up coming down here, that means that's probably not a great trade, which is probably why this one also was not a good trade, was because this retrace happened many, many bars and retraces after our reversal bar. Just like here, this one was very different where we had the reversal bar and then we had the drop down to the order block. And then I entered I like bottom ticked the entire thing and then continued moving up. So like that was a really good entry. But these down here, these were not quality entries and I never should have entered there. After that, I'd lost like a little over 300 bucks, like 320, 330. I'll show you the balance in a minute. But and I was like, all right, I'm all good. And I was meeting up with my girlfriend to go to lunch. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna call it good. There's no reason for me to be looking at my phone. It's the day, it is what it is. I'm sure that we'll see a reversal at some point in here and I've missed it, but I don't want to risk any more for today. 320 bucks is enough for me and we'll call it a day. However, right after that, and that was like right here. So then within the next couple of minutes, we hit today's first presented fair value gap. We hit the consequent encroachment of the order block. No, consequent encroachment of an order block is called mean reversion, I believe. Um, and then they see if the regular trading hours opening range gap is up here, but there's a lower quad level right here. And in this order block, ideally for an order block to be respected, we want to see the top two quadrants get respected. So this would have been our second valid entry. Neither of these should have happened, and this would have been our second valid entry, respecting these top two quadrants, giving us a valid entry right here. So the valid entry would have come right here, as these are equal highs. We sweep the equal highs in a market structure shift, or you can take this change in state of delivery, either one, and then we come down into this order block right afterwards. So we go up, we validate this order block once we move up. I consider this a market structure shift because there's equal highs and we moved above it. This is also a change in state of delivery, which we then move back down to this order block. There's also BPR right in here. So this range right here with wicks behind it and then wicking back into it would have been a great example of BPR. So any one of those entries in there would have been great. This was like the entry I was looking for and I just didn't get it. But yeah, really solid entry. Key level that I was looking for, change in state of delivery, market structure shift, order block, everything that you could want, all in one place. And yeah, and then we end up taking that to the upside. So then to get some of these lines off of here, and there was an SMT right before then. So like everything was kind of lining up. So to get some of these lines off here, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this and this and this. And I guess we'll go ahead and leave those on. But we understand that this was the main level that I was looking at. That entry, ideally, had I been looking at the charts for just a couple more minutes, probably would have been this entry right here down into this BPR, which would have put me in right here, or just at this order block right in here. Once we move up, market structure shift, move back down to the order block, this BPR would have worked. I don't typically use fair value gaps, but BPR is something that I'm willing to use, or like very specific fair value gaps where there's like highs and then a fair value gap and then there's a low that balances it out. I consider that balanced price range. That is phenomenal. Those are the kinds of fair value gaps that I look for. I do not just label any fair value gap and call it good. So this BPR would have been a good choice. Realistically, I probably would have seen this market structure shift and entered somewhere around this order block in here. Kept our stop right below that low. And then I was targeting these previous highs because we were still bullish. I was just targeting that. And had I been in the position, I would have just closed it out when right before market closed. So I would have closed it out for roughly 9-1. So not a bad day, honestly. It was a pretty good day. Besides our little loss, so I guess I lost a little bit. No, I didn't lose that much. I lost 325 bucks. So really not that much. I don't really have that much to complain about. It was a really good day. I'm not even upset about these losses. I think it's totally fine, and I know I will make it back within the next couple days, either by tomorrow or the beginning of next week. So no biggie there. But no, it was a really awesome day. I hope you all enjoyed. I don't really have a whole lot else for you guys. Yeah, no, there's not really a whole lot else I have for anybody. But yeah, no, that was it for me on this day. I hope you all had a wonderful day. I hope you all are trading well. I hope you all are profitable. Hope you all are living up these markets. And I will see you. I'll probably see you tomorrow. But yeah, I got to get back doing some homework. So I will see you all mañana. And yeah, have a good one, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. See you guys. Stay safe.